Hello, so welcome to another Xamarin.Forms101 video. So this time it's about localization. So let's go over to our Visual Studio. Let's start coding. As you can see, I have already created a basic blank or a basic project. It's actually a blank project in Xamarin. So I just added a new button that if I tap on this show alert button, it will display alert box saying hello. This is my default language, so I'm going to translate that as well later on this video. So let's stop debugging and let's create a new folder here. Let's say scripts strings. So this is where we want to keep our app string resources, and then we want to add a new resource file. Let's say app string resources, and then next is the new resource file string resources fill.ph. Okay, so as you can see, I have added fill-ph, which means this file, so our file will have the translated text, so from English to Filipino. So how did I get the fill.ph? We're going to I actually prepared a code here in .NET Fiddle. So if we run the code, it will show us the it will return all the culture identifiers. So for Filipino culture identifier, okay, so it uses fill-ph. So if you're trying to translate your application to Japanese, you just have to look up for the culture identifier for Japanese. So it should be here. I think it's JA. Yeah, it's correct. So JA-JP. So what we want to do is we change this to create a new app resource file. So just app string resources or whatever file name you want, as long as it matches on the default string resources that you created, the first resource string you created. So for Japanese, I guess it should be JA-JP. So for this demo, we're translating from English to Filipino, so it should be fill-ph. Okay, so we're going to start adding the values and then the keys. So first thing we want to do is we want to copy all of these English text, English strings here, and then I'm going to add a new key for this specific value here. So let's say our first key would be welcome to Xamarin.Forms, and then start developing now. Start developing. We can keep it shorter if we want. Make changes, so that is our key for this value, and then learn more app. This is space, learn more app and space, and then show alert. So next strings be hello. These are hard-coded strings, by the way, so you can translate that as well. I will show how to do that later on this video. So hello. Hello. This tab here. This is my default language. finally, okay. Alright, so we got this filled up. Next thing we want to fill is our the translated text, so it should be Filipino. It's important that the keys that you use on your default string resources will be the same on the other string resources that we created for the translation. So as you can see, I just copy all the values here and then paste it over there, and then we're just going to change the values to Filipino. So it's actually Tagalog. So welcome sa Xamarin.Forms. Simula ng mag-develop make changes to the XAML file and see where you update on it. It's funny that I'm having trouble translating this to Filipino. Let's just use Google Translate for this one and see if we can check any grammatically error. Gumawa ng mga pagbabago. Let's just copy this for the time and then so notepad. Pagbabago sa iyong notepad i-save upang makita ang iyong pag-update ang iyong makita i-save upang makita ang iyong mga update sa UI sa tumatakbo na. Subukan na. Okay, so that should do it. Okay, learn more at. Let's use Google Translate for this one as well. Dagdagan ang nalalaman sa or it should be dagdagan ang nalalaman sa space. Let's not forget the space. Short the alerto, I guess. It's not the exact translation, but hello should be Costa. This is my default language. Ito aking oh wow. It's my default language. Okay, so can you use Wika? Okay. It's not the exact translation. We don't use this pretty much, but anyway, let's remove the default. Yeah, there's no translation for default, so let's just use ito aking Wika. Okay, so okay, there's no Filipino translation for okay, it's just okay. Alright, so next thing we want to do is we want to translate our page. So we want to use the translation for this page. So first thing we want to do is we want to add a new namespace. So namespace localization. So strings. This new namespace here. So if you notice, there's a Xamarin.Forms101 underscore localization dot string. So where did I get that? If you check out the default app string resources that we created earlier, it's actually here. Xamarin.Forms101 underscore localization dot string. So the dot strings is the actual folder that we created earlier. Okay, so yeah. And next thing we want to do is we want to update update our first label. So next static localization string resources, and then welcome to Xamarin.Forms. Okay, so start developing now. Start develop. Make changes. Learn more at. And finally show OLED. Alright, so let's try. So let's see if this is going to work. Okay, so looks like it's working. We got all the string values in here in our page. So let's stop that. So next thing we want to do, what if we want to try the Filipino language, or the language you want to test without changing the Android settings by going to region or country. You can actually override the UI language or the UI culture for your Xamarin application. So by default, as I said earlier, Xamarin.Forms101 or the Xamarin.Forms culture by default is using English language. So what we want to do to override that is we want to go to xaml.cs, and just before the instantiation of the main page, we want to add culture info. Okay, so culture new. Remember our translation or the culture identifier is field-ph. So we're going to add field-ph, and then thread, current thread, and then current UI culture. So we want to override that to English to Philippine, from English to Philippine. So okay, and then let's clean up our usings. And again, I'm sorry for the background noises or any background noises you hear. So yeah, okay, so that's it. We override the default culture of our Xamarin application to Filipino. So yeah, welcome to Xamarin.Forms. Magsimula na mag-develop ngayon. Ngayon should be NGAY1. So ngayon. Display ang alerto. So I tap on the display on alerto button, and as you can see, the hard-coded text is still in English. So how do we going to translate our hard-coded text? So it's actually pretty simple. So we just want to create a new helper class. So we're going to add a new folder here named helper, and then let's add a new class. You can actually just use shortcut keys for creating a new class. So Shift Alt plus C, or creating a new icon. And so let's see, localization helper. Right, so let's set the visibility to public. Then we're going to create a public method. It should be just a pretty simple method, and we're going to just set that to static method. So public static string localize string key, and okay, so I have a pretty crappy keyboard want to get the values based from the key that we pass in our localized method. So appstring resources, resource manager, get string, and the key. Okay, so for example, we want to get the value for welcome to Xamarin.Forms key. It will return the value based on the current culture of your Xamarin application. So I think we overrode the current UI culture to Filipino to Filipino, so it will return the translated text. So welcome to Xamarin.Forms, for example, just for example. Okay, so next thing we want to do is we want to translate our hard-coded text, our hard-coded strings. Okay, so you know what, let's just change this to something more cleaner. Alert title, you can actually do that. Alert message, alert default button text. Okay, so you want to change this as well to alert title, alert message, alert default button text. Okay. Display alert, and we're going to call the localize method that we created in our localization helper. So localization helper, localize. Alright, so alert title, alert message, alert default button text. Okay, so let's clean up our usings again. Remove and sort usings, or you can just use the shortcut keys, Control plus Shift plus R plus S, and follows S. We're not going to press Control plus Shift plus R plus S, but Control plus R, Control plus Shift plus R, and then followed by S. Okay, so okay, so let's try if it's going to work. Display on that one, and yes, okay, so that worked. So we translated our hard-coded text to Filipino. So what if we want to add a new translation, let's say Japanese? So let's create another resource file. So it should be the same. Resources. Remember our code identifier for Japanese is JA-JT. Copy that, paste it over here, and we're going to use Google Translate again to translate this words for us to Japanese. So let's just copy the values here. So I am not really sure if these translations are correct, but I am not Japanese, so I'm sorry if there are any Japanese viewers there, and I'm just copy pasting without the double checking if these are the correct translations, so I'm sorry in advance. I hope you can help me. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I guess we can use space. As far as I know, in Japanese they do not use space, I guess. Hello, I believe it's konnichiwa or konnichiwa. Konnichiwa. Okay, should be this height. Okay, good. Okay. Alright, so we're going to override the culture, the current UI culture again to Japanese. So we're just going to comment this out. Then JA-JP. Yeah, okay, so that's it. We translated our Xamarin applications to Japanese. So let's hit the show alert button. And yeah, okay, so that works. Alright, so the last thing we want to do is, of course, we want these overrides to just run in debug configuration. We don't want to accidentally releasing an application in Japanese or whatever language. We want by default to be in English. So what we want to do is we want to add a new line, and that would be the compiler condition. So if debug, so we want to keep this only in debug. So yeah, so if we change our configuration to release, this will not be compiled. Okay, yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's try to run this again. Yeah, so that's pretty much it, and I hope you learned something from this video. And, yeah, happy coding.